Hey there, you know that feeling, right? You craft the perfect email, you feel super proud of it, and then, moments after you hit send, you spot it. A tiny, glaring mistake. Ugh, we've all been there. So today, we're going to talk about those small, super common English errors that, believe it or not, can have a huge impact on how people see your message and you.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to get into the psychology of why this stuff actually matters so much. Then we'll tackle the biggest culprits, those word mix-ups and punctuation traps that get almost everyone. And to wrap it up, I'm going to give you a few simple, powerful habits to make you your own best editor, so you can catch these little gremlins before they escape.
All right, let's get right into it. And look, this isn't about being a grammar nerd or chasing perfection. It's really about understanding the psychology of first impressions and making sure your brilliant ideas land with the clarity they absolutely deserve.
Just picture it for a second. You just sent off a big proposal to a potential new client, or maybe it's the application for your absolute dream job. You're feeling good about it, and then you see it, that one little typo. What's that feeling?
Yeah, it's that pit in your stomach, right? And it's a feeling we all know. Because deep down, we get that how we say something can be just as important as what we're saying.
And this quote from George Bernard Shaw just nails the real danger here. When our writing has even small mistakes, it's like putting little speed bumps in the road for our reader. Their brain stumbles, they get distracted, and they start focusing on the errors, not on your brilliant message. And just like that, the communication you thought happened, it didn't. Not really.
And that's the bottom line. These things aren't a sign of how smart you are. Not at all. But they can trigger this little unconscious bias in the reader's mind, making them think it's a sign of carelessness or a lack of attention to detail. In the professional world, that's a silent credibility killer. It's undermining your authority before you've even made your big point.
Okay, so let's get practical and meet the first group of culprits. You know, those words that look and sound almost the same, but mean totally different things. Honestly, getting these right is probably the fastest way to instantly make your writing feel more polished and professional.
First up, the all-time classic, your versus your. So your shows something belongs to you, like your coffee or your idea. Your with the apostrophe is just a shortcut for saying you are. Here's the dead simple trick. If you can say you are in the sentence and it still makes sense, you need that apostrophe. Simple as that.
Now, the same logic applies to it's and its, but man, this one trips up so many people. It's with no apostrophe is possessive, just like his or her. Think of it like this: the dog wagged its tail. But it's with the apostrophe is always just a short way of saying it is or it has. That one tiny little mark completely changes the meaning.
And now for what I like to call the final boss of confused words: there, and there. Let's break it down. There is about possession. It belongs to them. There points to a place, over there. And there is just short for they are. If you can master this trio, you've pretty much conquered one of the most common errors out there.
All right, we've handled those tricky words. Now let's zoom out a little bit and look at the structure of our sentences. Punctuation isn't just a bunch of random rules. It's the traffic signals for your reader, creating rhythm and making sure they know exactly where you're going.
Now, there are a few usual suspects when it comes to punctuation traps, things like comma splices and run-on sentences. And while all of these are important, we're going to zero in on the one that seems to pop up everywhere these days: the wandering apostrophe.
So here's the deal. Apostrophes really only have two main jobs. Job 1, to show possession, like in the team's project. Job 2, to stand in for missing letters in a contraction, like it's for it is. The place they absolutely do not belong is when you're just making something plural. You have several CEOs, not CEOs. We're talking about the 2020s, not the 2020s. The rule is simple. If you're just making more than one of something, leave that apostrophe out of it.
So we know the what and the why. But now for the most important part, the how, right? How do we actually turn all this knowledge into an automatic habit that we don't even have to think about? Because let's be real. When you're in the zone, just trying to get your ideas out, mistakes are going to happen. The goal isn't to never make a mistake. The goal is to have a system to catch them before anyone else sees them. Here are 3 super simple but incredibly powerful habits. First, read your writing out loud. Your ears will catch clunky sentences that your eyes just skim right over. Second, and this one sounds weird, but trust me, read it backwards, one sentence at a time, from end to beginning. This forces your brain to look at each word by itself, and typos will just jump off the page. And third, if you can, just give it a rest. Step away for 5 minutes, grab a coffee, then come back. It's amazing what you'll see with fresh eyes.
And that's really the big takeaway here. This isn't about memorizing a huge, dusty rulebook. It's about building a few small, consistent habits. These little checks are what create that professional polish and make sure your credibility is never in question.
Which brings us to a final thought. Language isn't static, it's alive, it's always evolving. The rules we follow religiously today might seem old-fashioned tomorrow. I mean, think about the difference between who and whom. It's already starting to fade in everyday use. So the real skill isn't just about following rules blindly, but understanding which ones signal clarity and professionalism right now, and keeping an eye on which ones might be the next to go. So I'll leave you with this. What do you think is next?